Have you ever wondered how two leaders fighting for the same cause could have such contrasting philosophies? Welcome to a deep dive into the civil rights movement of the mid-20th century, a time of great change and turbulence. We'll be exploring the ideologies of two of its most iconic figures, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. Let's start with Malcolm X, who emerged as a prominent figure in the late 50s. Born Malcolm Little, he later adopted the X to symbolize the African name he never knew, marking his break from his past and the beginning of his journey as a civil rights activist. Malcolm X was known for his provocative and polarizing views. He introduced the concepts of the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, according to Malcolm X, was the African American who was content with his subservient position, accepting the status quo and seeking approval from the white man. On the other hand, the field Negro was the African American who was discontented, frustrated with his situation and willing to fight for change. These metaphors were a powerful way to describe the attitudes of African Americans towards their own oppression. Now let's shift our focus to Martin Luther King Jr., who emerged as a civil rights leader in the mid-50s. King was a proponent of nonviolent resistance, a philosophy heavily influenced by the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. He believed in achieving social change through peaceful protests and civil disobedience, a stark contrast to Malcolm X's militant stance. King's philosophy was about love conquering hate and peace overcoming violence. He famously said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." This philosophy was the driving force behind some of the most significant civil rights events of the era, including the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington. Now, comparing these two great leaders, it's clear they had different perspectives on how to achieve racial equality. Malcolm X, with his by any means necessary approach, was willing to use force if required, while Martin Luther King Jr. insisted on peaceful strategies. However, despite their differences, they shared a common goal: the liberation and upliftment of African Americans. Both leaders were instrumental in raising awareness and challenging the status quo, causing society to question and eventually change deeply ingrained racial prejudices. In conclusion, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., with their contrasting philosophies, played pivotal roles in the civil rights movement. Their ideologies, while different in approach, were both instrumental in pushing the boundaries and demanding change. Their legacy, marked by courage, resilience, and a relentless pursuit of justice, continues to inspire generations. Whether through the metaphor of the house Negro and the field Negro or the philosophy of non-violent resistance, they forever changed the course of history.